And welcome to the Coach's Corner show for week one of this incredible 2020 season that's have all the different aspects of football that we normally see. I'm with Coach Pat Gallagher of the 1-0 Braves, coming off of a win in your first ever coaching job as a head coach. What's it like, first of all, to be head coach of the defending state champs?
Well, first of all, it's an honor because Williamstown is my alma mater. I played football at Williamstown for 4 years, graduated in 1992. So to come back to my school and just coach was an honor, and to be a head coach is it's really special. Really special.
Being an offensive coordinator for a while here, I mean, you're obviously very familiar with the packages and the system that's in place.
Right.
Was it a difficult transition to go from offensive coordinator to the head coach?
Just more work.
Yeah.
So a lot more respect for obviously Coach Fuchs and all the head coaches in South Jersey, because there's a lot of things that go unseen and unheard that are expected of a head coach, and I didn't have to worry about those things. I had to worry about preparing the offense on Monday night or on Friday nights, and I got a lot of other things on my plate now. So yeah, it's special. It's special because it's at Williamstown, my alma mater, and as a former player and having other former players like Coach Seidenberg as the defense coordinator, for us to be the coaches of our town and our team, it's special.
We'll get into all of that with the staff. Take us back to Saturday, and you take the field for the first time, and you look around, and it's not necessarily a packed house. These are difficult situations, and for adults, but it's got to be doubly difficult for the kids.
Yeah, you know what? When you came to Williamstown, or really any Williamstown game, it was an event. And it was an event because of the student section, because of the band, because of the fans, because of the pomp and circumstance that was that preceded the game, and that doesn't take place now. With a limit of 500 fans, because we're the away team, we only get 200 tickets. When you spread 500 fans out in a large stadium, it looks like nobody's there. So a little bit different. Not used to that. I think the only time that I recognized there weren't a lot of people in the stands before was several years ago we played Hamilton on a Friday night, and it was Halloween. There was nobody.
Nobody there?
There was nobody.
Priorities.
Maybe, yeah. So a little bit different. A little bit different. And I know we had talked about it before, but once the game starts, I've never noticed that the crowd wasn't as big of a factor because we're so locked in as coaches and players on, what's going on in the field. I never noticed that, that there was a lack of fans in the stands. So
that's exactly what I was going to ask you. We talked about that before we got on tonight, about how the effect of the crowd really, really has, and you don't really know about that.
Yeah.
How long did it take to get you comfortable? Quarter, series, half, what?
Listen, I'm doing what I've always done. So it was just like riding a bike for me. I'm getting out there. I have to do a couple things prior to the game, like I have to talk to the refs. We have to talk about the coin flip. So some of the things that Coach Fuchs was responsible for pregame, I now have on my plate. But once the national anthem goes, and we gathered the kids right before the game. It's
What'd you tell them?
Well, listen, I told them I honestly forget what I told them, but probably something to the fact that let's go, let's not leave anything on the field, and we're built for this, which we are. I knew those kids were going to come out and play on Friday night. I really did. I knew that they would come out. It's in this group, it's in their DNA. I know how they're going to play. So we didn't have the greatest offensively. We didn't have the greatest run-through on Friday. But I did know. I knew that they were going to come out and play. I know what's in their DNA, and our kids, especially against that team on that night, I knew that they would show up.
With everything going on with COVID-19 and all of these social distancing guidelines, on top of the fact that you're a brand new head coach, how do you handle those aspects? Now you can go out to the 10-yard line on either side. So what did anything change at all with regards to that, keeping the kids back, reminding them all of that? Or no?
No, so now we had a lot less kids on the sideline because we can only travel at 60. So they only allow us to travel at 60. So, we got to keep the kids back. I know that now that there's no warning for a sideline. No sideline warning is automatic 5 yards, and the next one's 15. So we were really focused on keeping the kids back. I didn't know until probably the day before that we could actually, one coach could go past the 25-yard mark and go down to the 10-yard line if we had. Yeah. So that was that makes it. It's nice to be able to do that.
Don't get too loud though. Hey, we're going to come back here at Pizza Hut. We're going to talk about that opening game win against Timber Creek. We're here at Pizza Hut, the official sponsor of Williamstown football.
Pizza Hut wings are bigger and better than the other pizza guys' wings. No one outwings the Hut.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner here at Pizza Hut. I'm Chris Lozzi, along with Pat Gallagher, the head coach of the 1-0 Williamstown Braves. We go to Timber. You like that, huh? Yeah. We go to Timber Creek on Saturday, and you got the Leary legacy at quarterback. Now, granted, Donovan wasn't as good as Devin, but lots of things going on in your head. What'd you guys see from the coaching perspective in, let's say, the first half?
Well, you know what? We knew going in that it would be a formidable matchup. They have one of the better quarterbacks in South Jersey, a kid that's got 5+ Division I offers. They have one of the most dynamic backs with Johnny Martin in South Jersey. They have a defensive end that has an offer from Clemson. They have several Division I kids. So we knew that they were going to be a formidable opponent. The one thing we also knew was there was a new coaching staff there. So I knew there would be some type of adjustment. For our kids, there was no adjustment. We do things the way – it was business as normal for the Braves. We know one way. That's the Coach Fuchs way, the Brave way. So nothing changed. You know, the way that we prepare our kids, the way that we go through the week, we have that stability. And that's one of the reasons for our success, because we have expectations. We have a way that we prepare. The kids know the expectations. So for us and for the kids, a very easy transition. On the other hand, you got Timber Creek. You got a lot of great athletes, but now there's that feeling out period. You know, you have a whole new staff. They have to adjust. They got to adjust to their new coach and the new system. You know, they had a new defensive system, a new offensive system. So that was what I was interested in seeing. I was interested in seeing some of the, how well those kids adjusted. And I knew that we would go in and I knew we were going to play well against them.
So you got touchdowns, pretty much methodic drives down the field, with the exception of the one screen to Brody. You plan on using Brody a lot more in that particular package?
Yeah,
from the
backfield.
Listen,
Brody is probably the most dynamic athlete on our team. Pound for pound, the best athlete in the school. I mean, there aren't many kids that have Division I scholarships in baseball and football. And at 5'8", 5'9", it's just an incredible. He's a different breed, man. This incredible.
He bulked up
for a kid.
too.
Listen, he put about 30 pounds on in the off season. A little COVID weight. That's what I said. I'm like, that's not all clean. There's a little bit of fat in there. But listen, I was a little bit worried at first. I thought he might lose some speed. But you saw Friday night.
Yep.
It's same old kid. Now I got to line up against a Brody Colbert, 30 pounds heavier. Oof. That's scary from the other side.
And just to put a cap on this, Mike Seidenberg's defense, again, they pitch another shutout. Phenomenal.
Yeah. One of the keys to our success has been the consistency in our coaching staff. So most of this coaching staff has been together for over a decade. Me and Coach Seidenberg have been the coordinators for the last 10+ years. Coach Sook has been with us since I was in high school. We have a lot of consistency on the coaching staff, and that defensive coaching staff is the finest in South Jersey. I give a lot of credit to Coach Seidenberg, masterful coach. I was my first year coaching was Coach Seidenberg's senior year, so I've seen him, develop from he was a very good high school football player, very good college football player. and then I've seen him mature as a coach. So, yeah, very rewarding. And listen, when I tell you he's one of the best in South Jersey, no doubt. And I give a lot of credit to our defensive line coach also, Justin George. We graduated our entire defensive line with the exception of Donovan Izaraka, special defensive player. But Coach George has developed those kids. We've got several kids rotating in there with Xavier Alexander. We got Dave Roberts. Nasir Lane has stepped up. So he's going to rotation. Those guys have stepped up. There are guys that played Friday night that had no varsity experience. It was the first varsity experience. And give all the credit to Coach George for getting those guys prepared, making them compete with each other during practice. So we were pleased. That's the one thing that we had a question.
Well, that was a concern. I was going to say that was a concern.
Big question mark.
Because backfield, no problem. Quarterback, no problem. Secondary transfer, we'll talk about Keon Sabb. But the only, and I want to say legitimate concern, but a question mark, was in the interior line. You lost some quality people.
Yeah.
You moved Devin to the left tackle spot, and you had other fill-ins, and they performed more than admirably, I thought.
Yeah, when you lose a kid like Aaron Lewis and Rayshawn Rucker, and listen, the only reason Rayshawn Rucker didn't get a lot of press was because Aaron Lewis. Rayshawn was a very, very good defensive lineman. Right. When you lose two kids like that, amongst a couple other role players, it's tough to replace. So we have one returning defensive lineman, and it starts up front. I mean, if you can't stop the run, you're in trouble. You're in trouble because if the other team gets a lead, all they're going to do is pound the ball in.
You stop the run, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the next opponent, Kingsway. By the way, these games are on pay-per-view, and you can get that information at the Huddle Club website. That's at WHSFootballHuddleClub.com. That's WHSFootballHuddleClub.com. $3, unheard of, high school football with pay-per-view. It's just amazing the performance of the community and the reaction. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
You're aware that there was a local catering hall, the Estates, that they had 10, 20, 30 cars outside watching this game. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did, and I'm glad these seniors and the student body have had a lot taken away from them in the last 6 months or so. And sports and Friday night is part of the experience. It's part of the football experience. It's a social experiment.
Yeah.
But so for that to be taken away from the kids, it's a shame. But the community stepped up, the estate stepped up, and so they had that the event. Although they couldn't be there, they could experience the atmosphere and be with their classmates and be with their friends and see it on the big screen. So it's really nice for the community to step up like that. And Mr. Cope was a key part of that, and the owner of the estate. So we really thank those guys for picking up the slack and filling that void that was left with the restrictions that we face with COVID.
The Chop House moved to Grandview, and we'll come back. We'll talk about Kingsway. We're here at Pizza Hut in the Coach's Corner Show. Again, a reminder, those tickets for those games on pay-per-view, you can find that link on the Huddle Club website at WHSFootballHuddleClub.com. More from Pizza Hut after this.
You're looking to score in the 2020 Williamstown Braves season? Let's head over to Pizza Hut, official sponsor. Oh no! Could it be a fumble? No! Dougie Brown picking it up for the cheerleaders. Wasted no time finding a receiver over his fellow lineman. We've got Bruno and Cope out in front as he pitches it to Colbert. Colbert getting it to the Heisman pose, and Donovan looking to move the ball forward, or should we say pizza, and that's Rocca Boldo. You know he's not passing up a nice slice, piping hot from Pizza Hut. He's coming down, he's headed to the end zone, he's at the 10, the 5, and he's going to hand it back to the cheerleaders. You want to score for your family, head over to Pizza Hut, and to score some tickets, be sure to click on the link to buy your Williamstown season pass. Thanks to our friends at Pizza Hut, proud sponsor of Braves football.
And we're back at Pizza Hut, the exclusive sponsor of Williamstown football, home of the You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. It is the original stuffed crust large pizza, one topping, special for $13.99.
One of my favorite.
That's right. Promo code LE. And again, get your tickets to the game on the website of the Huddle Club, WHSFootballHuddleClub.com, with the coach, Pat Gallagher. I'm Chris Lozzi, and we've talked about an opening day win against Timber Creek. Now it's on to Kingsway, and interestingly enough, another road game, so you're not going to get home for a little bit.
No.
Kingsway, Friday night.
Yeah, so we're excited to go down to Kingsway. We have a great relationship with Coach Hendricks. Great guy. He's done so much for that program. Kingsway made it to the sectional final last year before being beaten by Cherokee, who was our eventual opponent in the state championship game. It is their grand opening. They have a new turf field. So we're going
Well, that's good for us. We can see where the ball is now.
We need to see our speed Friday night.
Yeah, all right.
But we're excited to go down there to play on the turf field. It's a beautiful, beautiful facility. It's just a shame that they have to play us in their opening, on their
well, let's talk about them, because you said earlier off camera how Timber Creek was more like the amoeba defense. They moved a lot, and they bend but don't break on their side. So you really couldn't get into the second level if you got the ball in from running backs. Kingsway doesn't play that way. They're more up in front at the line of scrimmage. Right. How is that going to be an advantage for you?
Well, we didn't throw many deep balls against Timber Creek last week simply because of the way they play their secondary. Their philosophy is deeper than the deepest. We'll keep you in front of us. We'll give you the short stuff, and we'll rally to the ball. Kingsway's a little bit different. Okay, they're going to take chances. They're going to man up on us. They're going to try to put more guys in the box than we can block. But we have answers for that. Our offense, we protect our plays with RPOs and checks, and we'll be ready for that. So you will see us throw a couple more deep balls this week, and to
think number one might get his name called a little bit.
He may once or twice. So
don't tip your hat there.
No,
Coach.
right.
Yeah.
So, but you'll see the deep ball thrown this year, this week, a little more than we did last week, simply because of the way they play their defense.
Did you feel a need to address a discipline issue after Saturday night? A lot of unnecessary calls. Right. And I don't want to say, I'm an official, but from the other perspective, we had 4 or 5 unsportsmanlikes. Yep. Can't have those.
No.
Did you get an explanation first before we get into did you do any type of discipline?
No. So we talked to our guys. There was a lot of trash talking on social media prior to the game, and most of it was done on the Timber Creek side. We addressed it. These kids have been playing midget football together from the time that they could walk. Right. So, and GT, Gloucester Township, and Monroe were 2 of the top teams, and they were rivals. So there's some bad blood between those kids, and there's no love lost between them. They know each other. So some of that trash talk carried over into the game, and we have warned our kids about it. Our kids listen. The one thing I love about our kids is we play with an emotion, but we cannot let that emotion get the best of us, and we let them know, listen, it's always been this way. If you get a 15-yard penalty that hurts us, you come out of the game, whether it's Dougie Brown and he's under center, or it's Donovan Izaraco and we're on the goal line. It doesn't matter. So they understand that it's not us. These are our expectations.
Sure.
If you do get a 15-yard penalty, you're being taken out of the game, and you know it's going to hurt the team. So we had that discussion. We had one offsetting, and then we had a couple of 15-yarders that either keep the drive going for the other team, or they're drive killers for us on offense. Sure. So we did a little bit of running this on Monday and today. To address it. And we sit down and we address it with the kids, because we know in a game like that, in a close game, in a game against an opponent that's just as good as you, or even a little better, that those things, they can be the difference in the game.
It's not your style to do this. I've known you over a year, but the officiating Saturday night took you out of some key situations.
Drive killers.
Did you get any explanation at all from the crew? A block below the waist call, and you were telling me that was on wasn't on Devin, was it?
No, it was Bruno.
It was on Nick? No, I thought it was a blitzing, but anyway, it was.
Oh, yeah.
The block was originated above the waist, winds up contact below the waist. Well, that's clean.
Yep.
and they throw that, and it takes away a 21-yard.
It's tough. You know what? I think if it was Coach Fuchs, they would give a little better of an explanation. But with a rookie head coach, I think they kind of brushed me away.
Really?
And or they deflect it to, I didn't make the call. It was so and so. So
okay.
Sometimes it's tough. And I would rather use the adage. You attract more bees with honey than vinegar.
Okay.
That wasn't Coach Fuchs' style.
No.
But I'm trying to ease my way in with some of these referees and not leave a bad taste in their mouths and just respectfully demand an explanation. Sure. Because at the least they deserve us that.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to put a wrap on this one on the Coach's Corner Show here at Pizza Hut with Coach Pat Gallagher here on BFA Productions.
No one out-cheeses, out-meats, out-supremes, out-crusts, or outstuffs the Hut. Because when it comes to making your favorites, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Big day of closet organizing and jigsaw puzzling? Get Pizza Hut's Big Dinner Box, 2 medium pizzas, breadsticks, and your choice of pasta or wings. Sealed for your safety, all in one box. Choose contactless delivery or new curbside pickup at pizzahut.com.
Of a high school program that, let's call it the Notre Dame of high school. We have our own network, right? You have your own television.
Are you sure we're not in Texas here?
Yeah, exactly. Following you everywhere. What are your thoughts about that? I mean,
I think it's incredible. I have nothing to do with this. We have people like Brian Cope, Dr. Ray, Mr. Page, and those guys have spearheaded all of this. This is something that Coach Fuchs did. You know what I mean? Those guys, me and Mike worry about running the offense and defense, and those guys they worry about proliferating the program. So it's special. I mean, how many high schools have this?
Yeah, not many.
So
not many.
We're very lucky. Our facilities, we have great facilities. We have great support from our community. Great support from our support staff and our huddle club.
Mm-hmm.
So it's special. It is really nice. Yeah.
So you're practicing now, getting ready for Kingsway. Anything different that we're going to see other than the things you mentioned before about how I think they're going to be up in your face? You might be able to get more deep. Anything else?
No, we are who we are. We're run first team. We will air the ball out. You'll see us stretch the field vertically this week. But that's what we like to do. We like to stretch the field vertically and horizontally on teams, make them run, and I think that we're just better up front than they are. They're a little younger than us, and I think we're just going to impose our will up front with those guys.
The last time you were in Kingsway was when?
2017.
Yeah,
and they played us well. Listen, 2017. Now listen, I never take those guys lightly, and that may have been one game where 3 or 4 years ago where I said, yeah, we should handily beat this team. And they played us well. They did some things defensively that I didn't expect, that I'm prepared for this time.
Okay.
They played us very well that game. That was one of those games where we couldn't get into a rhythm. We had a couple of penalties that, were drive killers. But Coach Hendricks will have those boys prepared. Very good head coach and has a great defensive scheme. But we'll be ready for them.
They're coming off a big win as well.
Yeah. So they beat Highland. I think they put 35 points up on Highland this year.
Yep.
Or this week. They basically did what they wanted. Now those guys they started late. So they've only been practicing for about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. So they were restricted. Their school restricted them from practicing in the summer, which gives us a little bit of advantage. We've been practicing a little bit longer, but watching film, it didn't look like it. They were pretty crisp on offense and dominated on defense. So we're expecting them to come out and get their best effort. And they'll play like they have a chip on their shoulder because they're playing the #1 team in South Jersey. And so we expect them to give us a good game in the beginning, but I expect us to pull away in the end like we always do.
Like Coach Gallagher said, the top-rated Williamstown Braves here in South Jersey, #1 in their first trip to Kingsway in 3 years. It's a Friday night kickoff here on BFA, and on pay-per-view, you can get that link on the Huddle Club website at WHSFootballHuddleClub.com. For Coach Pat Gallagher, for our entire BFA crew, and a very special thank you to our Pizza Hut operator and also alum Ed Herron here at Pizza Hut. I'm Chris Lozzi. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you Friday night at Kingsway as the Braves take on the Dragons here on BFA.
The Hut.